Hi everybody, it's Cindy the Scrapologist. I'm here with the final flip through of the vintage, um, I forgot what I've been calling it, Traveler's Writing Kit slash Gatefold album. I wanted to apologize again for the length of time between videos. I know a lot of you were following along with me, making it every time I created a video. And as you know, in the middle of it all, I got very, very sick. I was sick for weeks, and so I apologize. Normally, I just keep going with a project, but I just couldn't. So what I decided to do is finish it off camera so that I could just get it done, and you guys could. I did the final embellishments, and it is completed now, and you can stop and start this video and finish yours up. So thank you so much for your patience and hanging in there with me. Um, I wanted to say, first of all, if you notice that your album is not staying closed all the way, or it doesn't stay open really well, it takes a while for the craft text on the inside spine. I'll show you when I open it. It takes a while for all those fibers to break down and get kind of pliable. So don't be afraid and also this fabric here that's painted. So don't be afraid if you use the craft text to open it and close it until it gets nice and pliable and soft and stays closed. Mine, I haven't played with mine quite enough, so it's almost there. So let me do the flip through and show you piece by piece what I've done since the last video. I did end up putting this little thing that says notes. Remember I put the crackle medium on it? And it really doesn't come across on the camera. There we go, as good as it does in real life. And I affixed it to a piece of chipboard. I just glued down the left side because I think it looks fine like that, and when the album opens it's out of the way. I finished my leather closure. I tried to do this in the last video and I cut my leather in the wrong place, but my mother had a brilliant idea. I cut I cut this hole here with the crocodile. I didn't realize this would cut through leather, but it went through slicker than butter, cut the hole perfectly round and right where I wanted it. So, crocodile, baby. So I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. And of course, as I showed in one of the videos, I used the Canvas Corp rub-ons that I love. I did a pen and an inkwell here. And the whole thing ended up kind of looking like denim, which was a happy accident. So this is still a little hard. Again, this will get pliable too. Let's open it up and I'll show you what I did. Now this is what I was talking about. This is the craft text here. And just don't be afraid to just keep working at it. I mean, don't rip it obviously, but it needs to get worked in a little bit so that your covers, see mine are now at the point where they lay open nice and flat, which is nice. So don't be afraid to work that craft text. It's not going to tear on you. All right, what have I done? Let's start over on this side. I didn't want to overly decorate it because I thought that this was busy enough, so I just put a little postage stamp from a scrapbook scrap on here. And when you open this up, if you recall, I had typed name, street, city, state, and zip on my husband's vintage typewriter. I put a strip of washi across the top. This happened to have letters and stamps on it. It's from Tim Holtz. What is it called? Let's see, I have it right here. It just says design tape. I'm not sure there's a name. Oh, it's called Postal. Tim Holtz Postal washi tape. It's got some nice things in there, some airmail strips and things. So I used that. Originally, I was going to use the washi tape to put it in here so that this could flip up. But the papers, the way I cut them, I didn't have enough room at the top and I could cut this down, and I may still do that, but these are fine to me, just sitting in there so that you can pull them out. So that's what that ended up being. I left this here blank because I just like the look of it. I didn't want it to be too busy. And of course we've got the magnet in there that holds that shut very nicely. And I had gone through, I showed this on the video, I have the word addresses there. I typed that on my vintage typewriter on vintage sewing pattern paper and put it on there. Oh, on this side I put just a sticker, a label, and sorry, it's another cloudy day, so my lighting is terrible and my camera just doesn't want to focus. Come on. I think you can see it better far away. It's just a label that I put on there in case you want to write something there. And let's do the right side. I did end up making a paper clip. I just cut, I have another video on making these, I believe, making paper clips. I just cut a tag, 2 tag shapes, and put the paper clip down in the center of the 2 tags, and then I decorated it with glue on me. I decorated it with a piece of scrap paper. Here's a tag from a piece of scrap paper, a little piece of vintage book page, and there's cheesecloth underneath. My camera just doesn't want to focus anymore. I think it's time for a new one. I just got this one about a year ago. And then I just have some more of this vintage lined paper, and I have that paper clipped to the front. I put a little, just a little, I don't even know what you call it, scrapbook scrap, probably from Tim Holtz. This is an old graphic 45 that I found, and I put another label here. And then when you open it up, this you've already seen. I've got the, which I still haven't fixed yet. I've got to do that. I've got the wax seals. All I did was distress this with Tim Holtz Vintage Photo, and I put a little priority label here. Inside here are all those wonderful labels, shipping labels. And in the video, I think it's the one before this, I do have a link for these. And then in here we have the vintage Victorian calling cards. I inked them and I backed them on a cardstock, and there is a link in one of the videos for these to be printed as well. I did finally get my acetate in, so I enclosed that in acetate, and on this I just put some tissue paper. All of the tissue paper that I used for this book is from one of my kits. I think I called it historical letters and documents or something like that. Here's a remnant of some of it, and I print it on tissue paper and I use it all the time. I love it. So I did that. Then I decorated the envelopes a little bit. On this one I put a journal card. It already had the stamp on it. I tore out the word letters, put that on here, and a lot of these are left over from I think it was a Prima collection from several years ago. Some of their cut-aparts, and I saved them all, obviously. I just can't get the light. Okay. And I just put a bunch of them. This one looks like a postcard. I just put a bunch of them in here. I made this into a pocket. Okay, this envelope, I just put a journal card here, and I tore out a piece of scrapbook paper. I didn't decorate the insides, except this one I just put a little journal card, And I went through and used my hole punch and did hole punches across the top and kind of tore it a little to make it look like it was um, torn out of a book or something. Let me put this back on. Forgot to do that. It's a little too thick if you put all of these in one. There we go. Okay, let's put that back on. Okay, now I have this stuffed too much currently. These normally go down there, and there's magnets, but I stuffed something else in here, which I'm going to have to take out and just lay on top. But I put it in there so I wouldn't lose it. Um, I did put some more Craft Tex over the magnets just to hide those. I put another little journal card here that I had. Just says message, number, and date. Maybe I can go into the camera itself and fix this lighting here. Let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm saving up for a better studio lighting, but I'm not quite there yet. There, I think that's going to be a little better because the weather here is just gray and cloudy most of the time, it seems lately, and I just have to have some supplemental lighting because I'm getting none coming through the windows. None. Okay, so we have 3 things in here. Let's pull them all out of our accordion pocket. Back here, see this magnetizes on there really nicely when you don't have it overstuffed like I did. And I have a surprise to show you, something my husband found, and it's absolutely perfect. So we made this. I did I have it affixed with a paper clip, and the paper clip just has a few pieces of little fabric trim, and I glued a pen nib to it, and I think that came out really pretty. And then I took some black ink, and just blotched it on this vintage book page, and it doesn't really serve a purpose other than to look really cool in the writing kit. Then I took this and printed the historical documents, a couple of them onto tissue paper, and I just covered this in tissue paper because I like the way it looks. I didn't want to use scrapbook paper, and here's a piece that I had left over from something else, and then I inked it up and put a little delivered tag on the front. When you open it up, let me move this out of the way. I have some goodies in here. I included a piece of twine because you might be having to wrap this around a package that you're shipping or putting it on a label. These are super cool. My mother happened to find these at our local, I don't know what you call it. It's a store that kind of takes in water damaged goods, and it's not a thrift shop, but it's kind of I don't know what you call it. But you never know what you're going to find in there, and she found these fragile handle with care. They're adorable little airmail boxes. Not that you could really mail anything in these, but how adorable do they look in this kit with a little piece of twine on. Oh, I thought these were perfect. And then in here I did cut up in different sizes. I cut up my return address labels. And that's all in here. I also was going to do some shipping tags, but I have to stop and just say this is finished because I'm just full of ideas for this kit, and I couldn't stop putting things in it, and it's not that big. So think about doing that if you want to. And then the paper clip just goes on the top, and it looks so adorable with their little ink blotched paper. I love it. Okay, so that goes in the accordion. Then, where did I put the other stuff? There it is. Okay, then we made this guy with the little magnet closure. I covered the magnet just with a piece of a strip of scrapbook paper, and then I put another piece of scrapbook paper here, craft paper, to cover the magnet, and it still works really well if you have really good magnets. Oh, I need to do the back. I missed something. Well, this is, again, tissue paper from my historical documents kit, so I'm just going to cover the back with more of the same. And then you open it up, and we made this in class, our little stamp holder, and this has a little mini book in it, made of vintage book paper, in our little teeny tiny little envelope. And then we made, in one of the classes, we made some handmade envelopes. This one is made out of vintage book page, and this one is made out of scrapbook paper. And those go in here. You could put more in here. I just made two. And then we made our own postcards. Remember that? With the vintage book pages on the back. Vintage book page. Actually, this one has, and remember how we did that? This one is from one of my digital kits, and I printed it on tissue paper. This one is beautiful on tissue paper. Absolutely beautiful. So we've got those, and then I just put scrapbook paper behind both. Oh, that's what it was. Prima Stationer's Desk, I think it was. I loved that paper. I bought a whole bunch of it, which is why I have so many scraps still. But yeah, kind of writing themed. And then I had another one from that kit that had telegram on it, and I put it over this pocket. So that goes in there. Now here is the cool thing that my husband found. We were at an antique store, and he said, "Hey, did you see this old book over here?" And he didn't know anything about this, that I'm doing a writing kit. I haven't really talked about it too much. I just called it a Gatefold album, I think. But this is what he found for me. Look at this. Telephone numbers, and it's from the New England Telephone and Telegraph Company. It's vintage. It has name, address, telephone number. And look at the size of this. I mean, how much more perfect could this be? It fits right in there. I don't even know what to say. It's perfect. I love it. Good score, honey. And so all of our little goodies go in here. I think I'll just put this one here. Let's see if it'll close now. Nope. See, now with this thing in here, I've just kind of stuffed it too full. These straps have got to go down. There we go. So this one can just go on top. I didn't put anything in here for now. I just left that for maybe you want to store some other things. I don't know. I also ended up, if you recall, I was going to do the little strip of Craftex, glue it, and put it here for a pen. But this is just getting too stuffed. I was creating it as I went along, and so I scrapped that idea. I was also going to put I'm dropping things. I was also going to fill this, I was going to smear the inside of this bottle with ink and have that also in here, but I scrapped that idea because I don't have a lid. The lid was stuck way down on the bottom, and it turns out it wasn't really the lid for this. So I scrapped that idea. I also, in one of the videos, had made the monograms, and I was going to put those in here, and my punch broke. I haven't been able to replace it. I have a punch that is the perfect size. So I scrapped that idea for this, but I'm just showing you in case you want to incorporate any of these ideas into your kit. I also had, let's see, yeah, I have a whole list here of things that I just kept thinking of more and more and more and more things that could go in here, but I think I kind of did most of them. The only other thing I was thinking of doing that I was going to put in here, and I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to give you an idea. I went online and I found all of these beautiful quotes about how much I miss you, kind of miss you quotes, and I was going to print them on vellum and fold it up and maybe put it in the envelope here too. That's another idea of something that you could do. But I'm really happy at how this turned out. When I first did this, oops, I put this on the wrong side. That's what I did. When I first started this, I had no idea what I was going to make. I just wanted to make a gatefold album. So it kind of morphed into this. And so you can see that if you sort of take your time with things and don't rush the process, you will. Now, how long have I been working on this? 2 months? I don't know. But you may end up with something that you never even imagined in the very beginning. And don't worry about, well, what am I going to do with this? What am I going to do with this? Just let the creative process happen, and you never know what you're going to come up with. So that's what happened in this case. I'm super happy with it. I may put it for sale in my shop. I have a huge craft show, craft fair coming up here in Skowhegan in August. It's a 2-week affair. We have the big, huge, world famous Skowhegan Fair here, and I need to get some inventory for that, so I might keep it for that. I don't know. Um, so I hope that you enjoyed making yours. I know that people have convoed me. Not everybody is making a writing kit. One person was making an idea journal and stuffing the pockets with ideas, and I can't remember some of the other things people are doing with this, but they're getting very creative. And I hope that they go over to my Facebook group, the Scrapologist or the Papercraft Fan Club, and post your pictures of what you ended up creating with this fabulous Gatefold album. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your patience. I promise next tutorial will go smoothly. I don't plan on getting deathly ill in the middle of it. And don't forget to hit subscribe. Show me some love by some thumbs up. Please tell all your friends. I'm trying to get to my next goal of 1,000 so that I can do some really cool things. You think this list is big, you should see my idea book. It's stuffed full of things, but I need more subscribers before I can grow and do those other things. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Bye.